So let's just go ahead and add you Bitcoin people to the mix. You're stupid. You're going to lose your money. Be pissed at me. You shouldn't have put money in something wacko like that.
Well, what a nice fella, huh? What a bundle of joy. Dave Ramsey talking about cryptocurrencies, and specifically Bitcoin there. And the shocking thing is that I don't completely disagree with him. And here's what we're going to do today. We're going to do a little bit of a reaction video in regards to Dave Ramsey, because somebody compared me to him during one of the live premieres because of something I said. So I want to go over with you guys over three things. First, where is Dave Ramsey right when it comes to cryptocurrencies? Where is Dave Ramsey wrong when it comes to cryptocurrencies? And personally, where I stand with both Dave Ramsey and crypto as a whole. And I'll show you some of those comparisons and hopefully get you to be on the same page where I'm at right now. And if I don't, well, even better. That gives you the opportunity to let me know where you think I'm going wrong down in the comments below. But if you guys know that I'm always trying to provide you value, give you things to learn, things to understand about crypto, well, go ahead and smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. It goes a long way in letting YouTube know that, hey, more people should probably watch this video. And this is one of those videos that I hope you're able to share with friends and say, hey, I know you like that Ramsey guy, but what do you think of this? So let's get right into it. And I want to get my screen sharing going and share this next clip. And I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about when I say that I agree, but not entirely with him. He wants to, and I want you to get a baseline because I want to do, this justice. This is a clip back from 2014. So I got a couple of clips from this, this show itself where he talked about, is Bitcoin a good investment? Here he goes.
You're betting, if you say put the money in pesos, you're saying, okay, those pesos are going to be, they're going to buy more than dollars will buy in the future. And so if I put $2 into pesos today, later I can take the same number of pesos and cash them out for $10. And that's trading in currency is what you're doing. And so you're buying the yen, or you're buying the peso, or you're buying the euro, or whatever, and you're betting really, when you're doing that, you're speculating, gambling in a very real sense against the American dollar. Because there's no rhyme or reason for this, because all of a sudden a government can decide to flood its currency. And in America, we always call that quantitative easing, where we just dump currency into the market. And it makes the dollar, it dilutes the value of the dollar. And when they do that, and they try to do it at a pace that doesn't create big ripples, but other countries are not nearly as sophisticated, and so they can destroy the value of a currency. A currency only has value to the extent that someone else wants it.
So he made a very accurate statement there at the end, that currency only has value if, to the extent that somebody else wants it. Now, do I agree with everything that he said? Yeah, not even close. And here's why. He just talked about quantitative easing. If you guys have not heard of quantitative easing, it's just printing money, right? Just printing money. And he said that the US is very sophisticated. And I want to start out with a baseline and get you guys to understand where I'm coming from with all of this. He's saying that we're sophisticated in the US when it comes to quantitative easing, and it's fine. Things are fine. It's fine. Everything is fine, even though you look at a chart of how much money has been printed since everything started back in March 2020. So you take a look here, $4.31 trillion, okay? And now we're sitting at 8.57. It's a lot of money to be printed. And I do want to start out with this baseline because I think it's important for you guys to understand where we're at. Because when they first started doing this and printing money like crazy, so here's an article from March 1st, 2021, okay? Cash crazy, almost fifth of all US dollars were created in 2020 alone. This is insane. Like 1/5 of all currency being printed. But here's where it makes no sense to me at all. And I can link you guys to this article. Here's the statement. However, inflation for most consumer goods has not been affected, despite the flush of money entering the economy. That is not the case anymore. That is not where we stand as a country. And here's the proof. And I'll just play a short clip just so you guys understand what's going on.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you would prevent the new spending and your Build Back Better agenda from exacerbating the problem? And also, what else are you going to do to fix this problem with inflation?
All right, thank you. Well, let's start with this. Prices have gone up. and families and individuals are dealing with the realities of that bread costs more, that gas costs more. And we have to understand what that means.
This is where we are. Like, you guys have to understand what that means. That you're paying more for stuff that you used to pay less for. That's what it is. Like, there's no easy way around this. They printed a bunch of money, and now this quantitative easing, not very sophisticated. They printed a bunch of money, people decided not to go to work, and now we are where we are, where inflation is kicking everybody's butt. So just understand that this clip from Dave Ramsey was back in 2014, where things were a little bit different, right? Like, the reason I'm pointing this stuff out is so that you have an understanding where he's coming from. And this next clip that I want to share with you, it impacted me directly. And that's the reason why I want to share it and show exactly what he says about Bitcoin. And this was back February 2014, where there was a pretty interesting event that took place. Let me share that with you right now.
And so today it comes out that one of the big exchange companies for Bitcoin has crashed. And so Bitcoin is very unstable at the moment and looking like it's not going to make it. And what is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is a currency on the internet. It has no value except to the extent someone else will take it from you as value. Just like that paper has no value except the extent someone else will take it. So Bitcoin is the Iraqi dinar of the internet. And I know intelligent people who, while they're intelligent, are not wise, that have put a bunch of money in Bitcoin. But it's a really good way to turn $1 million into nothing, to play in unstable currencies that they're, and here's what you have. Let me tell you what Bitcoin is. It's WWW. It's the wild, wild west. You're back to the Western banking system.
All right. Again, I'm just not here to say, oh, he's wrong. What he's saying is ludicrous. Like, no, I want to give him credit where, credit's due. When he's talking about the wild, wild west, he's basically talking about people, back in the day, there was a run on the bank. People said, oh, the bank doesn't have enough money to cover all the people's deposits. So people would literally run to the bank and get their money out because all they cared about was their money. As soon as they got their money out, the next people in line might not be able to get there. So that's what he's talking about, the Wild Wild West, when it comes to banking, right? Like, I get that. I want to give him credit there. Now, he's referring to a time where Mt. Gox went down. It was a big exchange. I lost a lot of money at that time. And I want to show you the chart of when that happened. And I'll switch my screen here so you can see what I'm talking about. This is, what are we at? So 2013. So it peaked out at over $1,000 in 2013. And then if we go 2014, like, it just kept coming down. You see that? So this is February where all that stuff took place. Then it took a little bit of a, it went up a bit and then it just crashed and then it came up and then it went down. And then it's set at around the $200 to $300 mark for a long time. And, hindsight is 2020. It's easy for us to say, oh yeah, it was, you could have bought it for less than $300. And now if we, bring this up where we stand today, you can barely see that on the chart or where it was in comparison to where, Bitcoin is at today. I mean, it's gone up a lot. We're at about $60,000. But does that mean that he's wrong? Well, not entirely. Like, I know what he's saying, that it's not real money. But it's not real money the same way that the dollar is not real money. So be aware of that. Your money, the green currency that you hold only has value because somebody said so. And again, it's the whole demand behind it, right? Now, there is demand behind the dollar. There's definitely demand behind Bitcoin. That's what's driving the price up. So I was personally affected by what took place at that time with Mt. Gox. I lost more than I care to disclose, but did it kick me out of crypto? Yeah, it actually took me out of crypto for a little while because that was the second time I lost money when it comes to Bitcoin. So is it ideal that happened? No. Was it the Wild West? In a way, it's still kind of is, depending on where people are putting their money. But that doesn't mean that it's a bad investment. It just means that you need to be careful with your investments and be careful with what it is that you are doing with those investments. So last clip on this 2014 video, I think is, kind of important for you guys to understand. And I think it sets a tone for where Dave Ramsey really stands when it comes to crypto as a whole. And it kind of sets a tone for the following videos that I want to share with you, because I just want to go back to 2014. He said, oh, he said that back in the day. That doesn't apply today. No, I want to be current, but I want you to see where he started, where his mindset was at when it comes to cryptocurrency. So you have a full understanding, because I do want to give him, I want to give his clips justice. I don't want to just say that he's completely wrong. I want to give you a little bit of insight as to what it all means.
Because all of a sudden, one of these computer nerds just flips a switch. The whole freaking thing's gone. It has no value. They just got completely ripped off, and it took them down. And so the little hipster techie guys are sitting in front of the building with a sign that says, "Where's my money?" Well, honey, you never had any. It's not real money, because it's not a stable currency that has any kind of a system that backs it, that has any kind of a system that protects. Well, I made a lot of money in Bitcoin. You can make a lot of money trading dirt to somebody else trading dirt until people catch on that dirt's not a good idea to trade.
Ignorance is bliss, isn't it? At the end of the day, it's nice living in a world where you don't know about things and you don't have to worry about them. Like that's a really nice setup. But the problem is where you have someone that has the influence, like Dave Ramsey, acting as if he did. So when you mix ignorance with arrogance, that's a recipe for disaster. I'm sure most of you have probably seen ads on YouTube that quote Neil Tyson talking about how one of the great challenges in life is knowing enough about a subject to think you're right, but not enough about the subject to know you're wrong. And I think that's what you see here, and that's why I have a little bit of an issue with Dave Ramsey when it comes to crypto and some other things. And I'll share my thoughts behind it, and I'll share exactly the way he goes about his project, about his project. I'm used to talking crypto, but just his business, his whole motto as his business, and why he is the way he is, and why I think you don't have to follow everything to a T. Because at the end of the day, there's way more opportunity out there than he makes available to people. And it's just a matter of grasping the concept and then applying it to your life the best way you know how. And that's what I tell people on the channel here. Like, I am not a financial advisor. I'm not telling you what to do with your money. I'm simply sharing you what I think, and I'm sharing with you what I'm doing and the things that I've done in the past that have benefited me. And hopefully that can help you as well. Because Dave Ramsey, he doesn't hold the truth. He says a lot of true things, but it doesn't mean that he's always right. And like I promised you guys, I want to bring it, I want to bring it up to today as far as like what's going on now. Because that clip was back from 2014. But I think it's important to give credit where credit's due. Like, let's fast forward to 2021. And this is a clip from, let me see, April 20th, 2021. And I want you to hear what he says about crypto.
Because I think it's still very speculative. We've already seen big highs and big lows, and I think it's still rocky. I do think that crypto is coming and to stay. I think right now it's a lot of speculation, and until it gets adopted and we start seeing businesses move that way, I'd stay on the sidelines. And it's not a part of our investment strategy at Ramsey Solutions either. So there's that too, which, Dave, you're far more versed in that than I am.
It's had an incredible year.
Yeah.
People made a lot of money out this year, without a doubt. No question about that. But they make a lot of money on cocaine too.
Right.
And they make a lot of money on, playing futures, and they make a lot of money at the blackjack table, and they make a lot of money betting football. But these are not investment strategies.
That's correct.
These are things that you can jump into or jump out of that are uber unbelievable high risk. Mm-hmm. And so the problem is that people don't perceive the risk in Bitcoin, and it's there.
Well, people make a lot of money on cocaine. That's nice. Do I disagree with him completely? No. Bitcoin, yeah, it can be high risk depending on when you come in. But comparing it to the things that he's comparing it to, that's just crazy, right? And this is recent. I mean, you saw his whole demeanor. You saw how he just right up crossed his arms and is like, "Yep, don't like this." People are making a lot of money, and I guess I'm wrong because I told people you would lose everything, but still don't like this. So I mean, you saw his whole posture about the whole crypto thing just change. But he's right. Crypto can be very high risk. You can lose everything, and that's the main piece that I want people to understand. There's nothing wrong with crypto as long as you understand what crypto is. and people make a lot of money and people lose a lot of money. I mean, it's essentially redistribution of wealth, if you think about it, for some people that are just, aping in without knowing what's going on, without doing their due diligence. So what should they do? Learn, research, do your due diligence before getting into anything. And I'll talk a little bit more about that, but how can someone, in my mind, look at the status of Dave Ramsey, compare Bitcoin to Coke? That's just a little wild to me. I just don't see how somebody can make that correlation and get away with it. But let's keep.
We do not tell people to invest in highly volatile, unpredictable investments. And currencies of any kind fall in that category. Bitcoin would be the most volatile among those. Crypto would be the most volatile among those.
Well, there you go. He made it clear. That's why. He doesn't tell people to invest in highly volatile investments. He's clear. That's just his stance. And a lot happened between, that May, April. I mean, that's, right after, that's when things started to take a turn. Let me show you my screen here. So if we take a look at these months here, so April and then May, and look at that. It went down quite a bit. And this is a perfect time. And you see how relaxed he is talking about it, because that on the 20th when they put this up, it had just taken a dive. So it was an easy call to take. I don't want to give give whoever's routing those calls credit, but they knew that this would be an easy answer. And I like this because now that he's relaxed in this video, he actually opens up and talks more about it. It's really, really nice to be able to get truth and real, reaction from people. And that's why I want to show you 2 tiny clips from this video itself, because I think it shares and shows you guys a lot in regards to what's happening.
The way you teach investing,
and the way I live.
And the way you live, that's right. And that's how you based it. There is risk involved, of course. But when you're talking about Bitcoin or really volatile stocks like this, I think it's no different than gambling. I'm not trying to be cute with the words, but there's investing, which is I'm going to invest. If you think about the way that word is, then you talk about this kind of stuff, and it is a form of gambling. It really is. You're going, all right, I'm going to put it in and hope that it keeps going up, but this stuff could drop just like this out of nowhere.
At a minimum, it's speculating, not investing.
That's what
gambling might be on one side and speculating on the other.
That's a bit of a strong statement.
Investing might be.
But that's what
investing implies the tortoise.
Yes.
Speculating implies the hare.
Yes, that's right.
So basically, Ken doesn't even think that this is investing, and calling it a form of gambling, and it's speculating at a minimum. So the whole tortoise and the hare story, got a little turtle and a little, bunny, whoever goes faster. Hopefully you guys are aware of what that little story is all about, that the tortoise basically makes it because they take their time, they keep going, and the hare falls asleep. This is not a pyramid scheme, guys. This is not that. It's early adopter, high reward. That's the world we live in crypto. And it's still early on. And the people who are getting in early are benefiting tremendously from this. And to call this speculative in not investing, it's kind of wild. And I will pull the chart up right now just so you guys have an easy understanding of what I'm talking about. And you can, you could be a tortoise investor with Bitcoin. If you would have bought into Bitcoin years ago, and I'll share my screen right here so you can see what I'm talking about. If you would have bought in early on, like in 2015, any time between, 2013, 2016, you would be filthy rich. Plain and simple. Not only that, if we look at a price today, essentially, if you invested in Bitcoin before, let's pick a date here. So before September this year, you're in the green basically because of the price levels. You didn't lose money. There's no way for you to lose money if you just put it in and left it. Anyone before that made money. As long as you're not pulling money in and out and buying and selling at bad times, this is not what they're claiming it to be. So you can totally be an investor, put your money in early, and reap the benefits long term. A lot of people miss that. So to say that people are just trying to make a quick buck with crypto, yeah, sure, it happens. I'm not going to sit here and say it doesn't happen, but It happens. And this brings to mind a perfect example. You can't not call this investing, especially when you have companies like Liddy Capital, for example, that are literally that. They tokenize their equity. It's instead of going to a stock exchange, they decided, you know what, we're gonna go on the blockchain instead, and we're gonna sell our stock on blockchain. This is investing. I don't know what people are saying when they don't see that. Talk about investing. Tomorrow, you got a little special on Black Friday for Liddy Capital. If you guys are looking for long-term investments, you get 26% bonus on all your purchases with them. I just saw that. But this is a perfect example. It's a stock. It pays dividends just like a stock would. So to call this, speculative, to call this gambling, it's just plain wrong. It's just plain wrong. Now, this last clip, and I did want to close with this because I think he understands himself more than anybody else. And I mean, whatever comes out of your mouth is what your heart's filled with, right? So take a listen to what he thinks about him.
And, of course, everybody that's a Bitcoin genius right now thinks Dave Ramsey's an out-of-touch boomer, which is probably true. But I'm also worth several $100 million, so let's go figure that out. But
yeah, I'd say look at the scoreboard. Take Dave on all you want to, but the scoreboard is a scoreboard. And it does come down to your risk tolerance.
Well, not just risk tolerance. What is your goal? And what do the data points tell you?
Well, all right. So the out-of-touch boomer is very arrogant and, full of himself, apparently, because he's worth several $1 million. And look at the scoreboard. So what? So what? Guys, there's a reason why I sit here in a black shirt every time I record these videos. Why I don't go around flashing stuff that I have. Have I been successful? Absolutely. Do I need to go out there and, be flashy with the things that I have? No, not at all. It's not a matter of what you have. It's a matter of where you want to go. And I think that's really important because I see Dave Ramsey contradicting himself more often than not when it comes to some of these things. And what he does have right here is, what is your goal? What are the data points telling you? So if he was to actually do his due diligence and look into the data points, I think he wouldn't be able to say the things that he's saying. If he truly believed in what he's saying about data points, take a look at the data points. There is a reason why people are making money with crypto. There is a reason why this market is just exploding right now. And for you to sit here and say, well, I'm worth several $1 million, that means you should listen to me and not anybody else. Wow, how more arrogant can you be? No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. Just because you made money on something doesn't mean that you're going to make money tomorrow. Just because something worked in the past doesn't mean it's going to work for you in the future. And I know for a fact you have to keep that same stance because the people who follow you need to see you doing that. You're not allowed to invest in Bitcoin. I'm going to go as far as saying that, Dave. You can't invest in Bitcoin because it would make you look bad. And the millions of dollars that you're making, both real estate as well as with the courses and everything that you sell, life insurance and all your other partners, it would make you look bad. It would be, you're not living out what you're telling people to do. So yeah, you can't live this life that we're living here. And I mean, it's a little sad that you can't do it, but I understand it. So you know what you can do with your several $1 million? Whatever it is that you want to do, because you can't invest in crypto. You just can't. If you do, people will revolt. That's what will take place. But I give you credit because the things that you say do make sense to people that follow your program. And I grabbed another clip because I think this is so important because he talks about millionaires and how millionaires don't always look like millionaires. And I'll share this last tiny little clip with you because I think it's really important for everybody to understand what this looks like.
Very few people who look like they have money actually do. The huge car, expensive car, the vastly expensive purse, the vastly expensive vacation on Instagram, the vastly expensive fill in the blank are very seldom actual indicators of wealth.
So he's not wrong. He's dead right about that. So when you see those Lambos, sure, that's fine. Doesn't mean they have money? Not at all. Not at all. That's where I think he gets it so right. And people miss the mark. It's not about how flashy you are. It's not about what other people think you have. It's about where you stand, right? Because I think that's the main thing that anyone that is, and I don't want to say rich, but wealthy, because being rich is easy. I can go out and rent a bunch of stuff and look rich all day long. Being wealthy is different. You know, like, can you actually cover everything that you are taking out as far as loans and things that you owe? Can you, sleep at night knowing that, oh yeah, everything's paid for, I'm good. So this is a huge thing when it comes to Dave Ramsey. So for the ones of you wondering, do I know about Dave Ramsey and the things that he talks about, the things that he shares? Absolutely, I know about it. Have I followed the program? Partially. Yeah, I've been in it. I know how it feels. I know, how good it can be for people. And I want to do it justice because it has definitely helped me. It has definitely helped me. And I don't want to just sit here and say, oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He does know what he's talking about. But the reason why he knows what he's talking about is not because of what many people think. The reason he knows what he's talking about is because he has a very niche when it comes to telling people how to deal with their money. Very, very specific niche. And see if you can see it in here because it's pretty apparent. I'm sure all of you have heard about this before. It's the 7 baby steps from Dave Ramsey, and he goes over a few things, and I can agree with a lot of them. So, he talks about saving at least $1,000 for your emergency fund. That's the first thing you do. From there, you pay off all your debt except your home, and he talks about doing it, a debt snowball. And this is important. That snowball means that you're paying off the smallest, debt first, and then going to the bigger ones. And I'll come back to this. After that, he wants you to save 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. Then you want to put in 15% in your retirement accounts, save for your kids' college fund, pay off your home early is step 6, and then step 7 is for you to build wealth and give. And that build wealth and give is where I got called out saying, oh, Dave Ramsey, huh? Sorta. And here's what I mean by that. So, should you save for an emergency fund? I believe so. I did this. This is my experience. I did exactly this. Should I pay off all my debt except my home? Yeah, I don't like owing anybody anything. I don't even like having a mortgage. So yeah, I can stand behind that. So 3 to 6 months worth of expenses and savings. That way you can have easy access to it. And savings, I don't know, because savings accounts right now are giving you 0.00 whatever percent, when you can actually get on stablecoin and get 12% back easy. So, but having that money saved up that you can have easy access to, yeah, I think that's important. It's the reason why I was able to start this YouTube channel. As my full-time gig was dwindling down, I started, I kind of went, well, it's okay. I have, I have a backup. I have an emergency fund that's fully funded. I don't have to stress. So that stress being taken off your shoulders is huge. Where I kind of don't necessarily see eye to eye and everything is when he starts talking about investing 15% in retirement, saving for your kids' college, fund, pay off your home early, build, I think that's these, from 4 to 6. And 7 actually don't agree with, and I'll tell you why in a second. But he's telling you to do these things with your money. I understand that paying off debt is great, but if my mortgage is at 3.5% and I have the money to pay it off today, however, I can get a solid return, like I said, 12% on, the same money if I keep it in a stablecoin earning interest like that. I'm essentially making almost 10% back. And why would I pay off my home early if I'm making money with that investment? And it's like a secure investment essentially, because I'm not gambling that money away. I'm not trading in currency like he said. It's just earning, accruing. It's, tied to the dollar. I would not put it in USDT because that's way too, sketchy for me. But USDC, I'm totally cool with that. Like, so would I pay my home off early if I didn't have that option? Absolutely. I would right now pay my mortgage off right this second. But knowing that I can get that return, it just doesn't make sense. Because it's a safe return, right? Like, I'm not worried about it because I know I'm going to get that money back, and I'm earning more interest than I'm paying. So why does Dave Ramsey tell you to do this? Why in the world does he encourage people to do these things? And it goes back to number 2, which is pay off all your debt. And the way he tells people to do it is with the debt snowball. If you're getting on Dave Ramsey's program, you're probably sick. And when I say sick, I mean you probably have an addiction to spending. And you need the endorphins that you get from paying off small debts. When you're just paying a little bit of a big thing, you don't get excited. But if you finish paying something off, you feel accomplished. You feel like, whoa, I'm making it. Why does Dave Ramsey tell you to do, to spend cash instead of using cards? It's not because he doesn't want you to get points on your cards. It's because he wants you to feel the money. He wants you to feel what that's like to give your money away, to spend that money. Because a lot of people don't understand what that feels like. They're like, oh yeah, it's just, I'll put it on my credit card. So in my opinion, would I invest in crypto if I was in debt? No, I can't say I would. With the exception of, and I'll throw this out there just because I do think that they're doing some cool stuff. Nodal. Nodal is a free way for you to get into crypto. You can actually mine right on your phone. And I'll put a link to Nodal down below so you guys can actually get into that thing because it's pretty awesome. They have some awesome stuff coming out. But you can mine for free. So should you get into crypto if you're in debt? Yeah, you can do it if there are free ways to go about it. But it's important for you to get to your place where you need to be first. So spending addicts, the program that Dave Ramsey has is incredible. Do I follow it to a T? No way, I can't. Like, I can't do it in a clean conscience. I can't not spend money on my credit card and pay it off in full and earn all the rewards because it's money I would be spending anyway, and I don't have a spending addiction. You need to get to the point where people are going to call you cheap. I don't know how else to say this, but when you get to the point where other people call you cheap, you know you're doing good. It just means you're not spending money like everybody else. That's how I've gotten to the point where I've gotten to today, where I have multiple types of investments, where I've made it out of a third world country into a better position than most people I know. It's not because I'm some genius. No, it's because I've been diligent with what's been given to me. And that's the main thing that I disagree with Dave Ramsey. And he doesn't just come out and say it. So I'll do it for him. What you need to do is change your mindset. You need to change your behavior, the way that you operate. That's what his plan does. That's what his baby steps essentially do for people. It makes you want to spend less. And that's the idea, right? You need to live on less than you make. Wild, right? Like, no, just live on less than you make. That's it. That's where it starts. Start there. So live on less than you make. Then change that mindset. Stop acting poor. And this idea of stop acting poor, I think that applies to everybody. It really does. Let me see if whatever, people are gonna judge me for this, but like, those black people in America have it so hard. Poor thing. If you're black and you're in the US, well, I'm happy for you guys, because guess what? Here's what news came out on October saying African Americans outpace whites and Hispanics in cryptocurrency investments as a new avenue to black wealth building and opening. Hey, this is the way it goes. Like, stop acting like you don't deserve things. Stop acting like you're poor. That's the first thing. So that number 7 that he talks about, build wealth, and give. No, don't build wealth and give. Giving is something that you should start doing when you don't have much. Otherwise, when you have a lot, it becomes difficult. You're like, oh no, I don't know if I don't want to get rid of this money. I don't want to do anything for anybody. No, if you don't have much, start today. That's where it starts. It's now. You want to give on the little. You want to be faithful to what you believe in now, when you might not have a lot, so that when you do have much, it sticks. It stays the same. I don't share a lot of personal things, but like I've been sponsoring kids since I was 16 years old. When I first got my first paycheck, I made a decision to sponsor kids in other countries. I wasn't making much money at all. But that's when it should start. You need to learn how to give when you don't have much, so that when you do have a lot, it's something natural. It's something that is part of you. And I tell you guys that this is the way I act, regardless if I'm on camera or off camera, because it's true. And I want to encourage you to do the exact same. Start living now the way you want to live later. That's what it's all about. It's not about, saying, oh, when I have a lot of money, I'm going to take care of X, Y, and Z. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. No, that's not the way you should look at it. What are you doing now to encourage those same actions later? Because I can tell you right this second, if you're just saying, oh, when I have money, I'm going to do this. When I have money, I'm going to be way more generous. I highly doubt it. It goes the other way. It goes the other way. If you're not able to do it with the very little that you have, how would you ever do it with a lot? So the main thing that I want to make sure you guys understand out of this is that Dave Ramsey, he does what he does. I think that he contradicts himself way too much because of the way that his plan is structured. In that same episode, he talks about if it's not helpful, if it's not hopeful or promotes healing, don't say it at all. Like, what the heck, calling people dumb, calling people stupid, comparing Bitcoin to drugs, like, that's not the way to go about it. So I'll leave you with this. Do good for yourself so you can do good for others. Set your mindsets to where you want to be. So when I told you guys that, hey, the price was going to drop, on crypto a while back, and people were like, yeah, it's fine. I don't have that much money in it. I had people literally come to me and say, oh, yeah, I know it's dropping. I saw it, but I don't have a lot of money in it, so it's okay. Is it? That's the way you look at it? Just because you don't have a lot of money in it, you're going to lose money and that's okay? That's a mindset shift that needs to happen. You need to act as if you had a lot, not a little. So, let's say a 10% drop on, Bitcoin, which is actually more than that, because if you think about it, if you sold on a high, when I was telling you guys, like, guys, it's going to drop, it's going to drop, it's going to drop, and you bought in at the low, you didn't just you would have lost 10%, 20%, but you're not losing money on the way down, then you're making money on the way up. Sure, if you only have $5,000, it's not that big of a deal. What if you had 50 or 500,000 or 5 million? Would you have, acted differently? That's the questions you got to ask. That's why I encourage you to do research. That's why I encourage all of you to look deep down and say, hey, where do I stand and where do I want to be? I know it's super cliche. Like, people talk about, oh, you want to dress for the job you want to have, not the job that you have now. That thing still applies everywhere else in life, right? So start acting now, in, the same way that you want to act later. Because that's going to be the defining moment. It's not going to be when you have your big break and you pick a token that's making you a ton of cash. No, that's not it. The big change happens today. The big change happens when you make the decision that I'm no longer going to act like I don't have anything. I'm now going to behave like I'm made it. That's when you're going to really, really see the difference. And I'm sure you guys can look this up on YouTube later, but it's the funny comparison that a lot of people make in between people. Poor people have hobbies. Rich people, well, they have businesses. They turn their hobbies into businesses. And people do that for accounting purposes all the time. And it's kind of crazy. Not tax advice at all. But it's just a mindset. Are you just, oh yeah, I'm just going to do that for fun? Or, well, no, let me see where this can take me. It's all about a mindset shift. And hopefully I've given you a little bit of insight as to where I've been, where Dave Ramsey, I believe, gets it wrong, unfortunately, but also where he gets it right. Because his program definitely helped me get to the place where I'm at today, but only in part. Didn't quite make it all the way. It was just enough to get me going. I had to take the extra steps. I had to make the decisions to make it work. And that's what I encourage, and that's what I want to encourage you to do today. Make the decision. I want you to make the decision that you're not going to live like you don't have money. Start living like you do have money. And to the ones that think that, oh yeah, I'm going to act like I have money, which means I'm going to go out and spend money. It's not how it works. People that have money don't go out spending money. People that have money don't spend money. They live on less than they make. They are purposeful when they do spend money. So keep that in mind. Hopefully this was a little bit insightful, if it had any value at all, because I've been ranting for a long, long time. You know what to do. Smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Hopefully this gets, in front of people that need to see it. Because at the end of the day, that's the goal, is to help people get to a better place. Help people to see that there are options out there, that there are avenues for them to be better than they are right now. That's my goal. That's the reason I make videos. It's a driving force. It's the motivation I have, is to see people better than they were before. And I'll ask for that, thumbs up button to turn blue. If you didn't like the video, that's okay too. You can hit the dislike button. It doesn't matter, but leave a comment down below. And here's the question that I have for all of you. Do you have an emergency fund? And if you do, at what age were you able to fund your emergency fund? Because I know the stats online and they don't look good. So I'm curious, the people that watch this channel, do you have an emergency fund ready to go or not? And it's so crazy. I know that it's the internet. People are super like, oh, I don't want to talk about money. I don't want to tell people what I have, what I don't have. It's okay. I promise I'm a nice guy. I'm really curious to understand where my audience stands and what are the things that I might be able to help you guys with, because the goal, again, is to help you have a more fulfilling life, which to me means going to bed at night knowing that things are going to be okay. So thank you all so much, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care. Well, that ran a little long, but for the ones of you that watched until the end, I really do want to hear what you guys think about the whole emergency fund. If you guys have an emergency fund or don't have an emergency fund, and how old you were when you were able to get an emergency fund. I'll definitely be doing a drawing for somebody that leaves that comment. Maybe I'll do 2. I don't know. Then depending who gets picked, I might give something that, better or worse, whatever it is. Let's see what happens. I'm really curious about where you guys stand. I will say, if you do have money, this is a good opportunity here, and I want to share with you guys, because I've talked about it before, and I don't want to do I told you so things, but if you buy those, 10 Picos from Deeper Network, and you can submit to get that money back. And I told you all that I was waiting for a specific time to submit this, because you're going to get credited for when you put your email in, and EPR is at that $16 mark. This is what I've been waiting for, to submit my name. If it drops lower than that, I'm okay with it. If it goes higher than that, I'm okay with it too, because I'm submitting my email address at that $16, 16 cents, so that I can get the best bang for my buck when it comes to these deeper devices. Because essentially, I believe that the price is going to go up. So I'm putting it in now, expecting that these 10 Picos that I'm buying aren't going to be free. I'm actually going to be making money to buy these. That's right. I already spent it. I already bought it. Now I'm just going to put in my email and reap the rewards. If you guys need a link to those deeper minis, use the link down below. It benefits me. I don't know how yet. I've told you guys that, but if you use my link, I probably will get something. I'm still waiting to get the details on that. But guys, I love doing this. I love making videos for you guys, because in the post-credit stuff is I get to be real. I get to tell you guys exactly how I feel about things. And I guess this video is a little bit, backwards, because I guess I got real a little bit earlier before the credits rolled, but that's all right. there's a crazy thing going on Twitter right now still. I asked people to give me their ETH addresses, and I've just been randomly picking people and sending them like NFTs and random amounts of different tokens. It's been super fun. I didn't expect that it was going to be that fun, but let me tell you, today's Thanksgiving here in the US, and I'm so thankful for all of you that watch the channel, all of you that support the channel, because I wouldn't be where I am today without you. So thank you so much. I got to get recording that other video for tomorrow. That won't be fun. There's been an Easter egg, on the videos for a little while, and people that have caught it, I've been sending them stuff. I just, message them saying, hey, PM me. And I send them stuff for anybody that's been finding that Easter egg. But tomorrow, it will be revealed. So stay tuned for that.